This is video number 14 for cello players. In this video, you're going to learn how to play the notes on the A string. So we're going to have a total of 8 notes after today that we know how to play, which will enable you to play a whole bunch of new songs. So this is actually going to be pretty easy. As long as you really understood how to put fingers down on the D string, this is going to be easy, if not easier, than what you did there. So we have our good instrument position, our in pin is up correctly. I'm not going to review those steps. If you feel you need to review them, please do so. When we play, putting your notes on the A string is just like putting your fingers down on the D string. The names of the notes are simply different. So I want you to open up to page number 10 in your book. And yes, we are skipping a page at this point. And we will go back to page 8 and 9. I have just found that page 8 and 9 are quite difficult until we build up some other agility and things like that. So I purposely skipped page 8 and 9, but we will go back to that in future videos. So you're looking at page number 10, and you're looking at the names of the notes. Now I want you to stay in your normal seated position. I'm going to come up to the camera so that you can see things a little bit more clearly and more closely. So when we put our fingers on the D string, we had D, E, F sharp, remember, sharp, and G. Fingers are curved, thumb is bent, all of that stuff is good. Fingers are perpendicular, your wrist will be up, your shoulder will be up, your elbow will be up. Now for the A string, it's the same thing, but now watch what happens with my elbow. I'm going to kind of stand there like this as if I'm playing in a seated position. All I'm going to do, watch my elbow. It just comes back slightly. It doesn't droop down. Okay, your elbow will swing around based on which string you're on. See that? From the D to the A, there's not much of a difference. Not much at all. That's all you got to do. Go back. But you don't want to just move your fingers. Move your arm. Okay? Now, so put 4 fingers on the A string. And look at your book and see what the name of that note is. And it's just called D. Well, we already know a D, don't we? We know open D. Those of you that play piano, you already know the term octave, and you know that there are many Ds all over the instrument. Same thing, not quite as many, but there are many Ds all over our instrument. For now, this is the only note we're going to know 2 of. So I'm going to distinguish them by calling this one open D, because it has no fingers down, and I'm going to call this one high D. Okay, so 4 fingers on the A string is high D. Now, if we pick up 1 finger, we are playing the note C sharp. This also has a special name, not just plain old C, it's C sharp. Is there a plain old C? Yes. Will we learn it? Yes, like December or January, okay? Not for a long time. So C sharp, high D, 4 fingers on the A string, C sharp, 3 fingers on the A string, 1 finger, B. Now let's go in order from the low note to the high note and see how easy this is. Remember, as we add notes, we go up the alphabet. So look, A, B, C sharp, D. It's all in order. Open A, 1 finger's B, C sharp, D. A string notes, I believe, are easier to memorize because they're in order that way. So this one shouldn't be too hard for you. All we're going to do today with this is we're going to do some echoing, so you get used to going back and forth between the notes on the A string. You're going to notice something about the A string. It's a little easier to play on. It's because it's a skinnier string, and you don't have to have quite as much strength to play on the A string. Now, if you're someone that already can get a good sound on the note G, and it sounds ringing and beautiful and all that doesn't sound funky or buzzy, you're in great shape. A string's going to be so easy for you. Now let me tell you, when you're on the D string playing those Gs, first you sound funky, then typically you sound kind of buzzy. Buzzy means you're almost there. So keep on pressing in hard and getting stronger and stronger. Buzzy means you're getting stronger. If you went from funky to buzzy, you're getting better. Eventually it's going to be beautiful. So A string, probably going to be pretty easy for you. Let's do 4 high Ds. So our fingers on the A string, we're going to pluck the A string. Make sure you're plucking the correct string. Get your cello situated correctly against your body. 4 high Ds, echo me. D, 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 you're able to get that beautiful ringing sound that you just heard. If you have strong enough hands, you can. Now pick up one finger. We have 3 fingers down. If you have forgotten, this is C sharp. Play 4 C sharps after me. C sharp, and go. C sharp, C sharp, C sharp, C sharp. Do 2 high Ds and 2 C sharps. 2 high Ds, 2 C sharps. High D, C sharp, and go. High D, C sharp, C sharp. Now, 1 finger on the A string. This is B. And I paused because I want to see if you could get that in your head. I don't want to give it away to you. 2 Bs. Oh, do 4 Bs. We haven't done Bs yet. Do 4 Bs. 4 Bs. Right, say, and go. B. 1 finger on the A string. And now do 2 Bs, 2 C sharps. 1 finger, then 3 fingers. B, then C sharp, 3 fingers. And go. B, B, C sharp, C sharp. Now stop and look. Are your fingers collapsed? I sure hope not. If they are, poke them back up, pop them back into place. 2 C sharps, 2 high Ds. C sharp, high D. And go. C sharp, high D, high D. Now I want you to do this. I want you to do 2 high Ds and 2 open Ds. But don't pick up your fingers. And you're thinking, but open D has no fingers down. Well, guess what? It has no fingers down on the D string. And you don't have to have your fingers down on the A string to play open D, as we know. But I want you to keep them down. And you'll see why in just a minute. Do 2 high Ds and 2 open Ds. High D, open D, and go. High D, open D, open D. Now I want you to do this. High D, open D, high D, open D. Now you should see why I had you keep your fingers down. Because we're coming right back to that note. High D, open D, high D, open D. C, and go. High D, open D, high D, open D. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. Keeping your fingers down as long as possible is something we want to start training your hands to do. It allows us to play what we call clean. Clean meaning you're not going to get extra sounds in between the notes that you're going for. If you pick your fingers up too early, you might get the sound of an open A or just an extra sound. So if we're able to keep them down as long as possible, we eliminate that problem. The other thing it does, it will allow you to play more quickly in certain situations. So that's just the very beginning of training you for more advanced things that you're going to want to be able to do. What I would suggest that you do at this time is just practice plucking the notes of the A string, naming them. If you want to try to play 22 through 25 on your own, that's fine, but there is a video coming up that will address those particular songs. So right now, just practice, get a good sound, check out your hand position, all of those kinds of things, and then I will see you and you'll be ready for the next video.